Transforming worry. Everyone worries, don't they? We try not to, but it's human nature. And worry is a bit different from anxiety in the way that I understand it. While anxiety is something deeply embedded in our whole system, worry is more of a habit. So here, I'm going to look at worry. I'm going to really explore how do we transform the habit of worrying, and where does it come from? It's interesting, really. Worrying. Because when you worry about something, obviously, you're worrying about the future, what has yet to come. And I'm not going to tell you lots of wise things about how you should live in the now. That's not what I'm doing here. I don't want you to have that worry as well. What I do want to explore is maybe the roots of worry. What is the cause of worry? And funnily enough, worry is actually a form of narcissism. It's a form of self-obsession. You're actually indulging in a kind of self-indulgent mindset. Something inside yourself that you know isn't good for you, but you do it anyway. You don't quite know how to change it. Or maybe you've just gotten into the habit of worrying about certain things. And usually, often, it's the same things. We ruminate these unproductive, unwanted thought patterns. And then what it does is it just makes you a kind of nervy, edgy, unrelaxed, tense, tight kind of person. And no one really wants to be like that. And no one is meant to be like that. It's not who you are. And you know it's not who you are. So that's why if you're listening to this now, you know we all need to find our way back to the joyous self, the child, the inner child, that inner stillness and peace, that relaxation, the part of us who loves freedom, the one who loves all the things you've forgotten since that time long ago when you were young, the dreams you had as a child. They've all been taken over by this sort of heaviness that seems to come from adulthood, from getting older. And what is this heaviness that we allow ourselves to indulge in? That's where you'll see. It's a habit. It's a habit of making things, situations, circumstances, relationships heavier than they actually are. And habits can be broken. They can be changed. They can be transmuted. And that's the good news. What is required to change a habit? Well, I believe it's space and awareness and the intention to change a habit. I have conversations with lots of spiritual individuals, spiritual entrepreneurs, And I sense that with these spiritualists, these very spiritual individuals, a lot of their practices, a lot of their habits leave them feeling quite good. Connecting with Source, meditation, relaxing, being. But I'm quite a practical spiritualist. I believe in practical spirituality. And I believe that when you embrace spirituality, when you begin to feel better about who you are, when you integrate, when you relax into who you're meant to be, it's also important to change your habits, to change your behaviors, because that's what truly affects your reality, your lived experience. And it comes back to this dynamic of how do we transform worry that often gets in the way of us changing our habits, right? Because worrying is a habit. And that habit of worrying prevents us from changing the habits that we know we ought to change. So the best way to change a habit is to change it into something else. It's really hard to just stop a habit. Habits are an addiction. They're very hard to stop. But you can transfer it into something healthier. It's kind of like a pivot. You're pivoting your habit to a more beneficial habit because the mind, the body, the emotions, they want to engage in some sort of habit. But you can choose a more beneficial habit than worry, or whatever unwanted habit it is that you're engaging in. And that's what we're going to do here. That's the invitation to you. So what I want to invite you to think about is, how can we create a new habit? And that new habit, we're going to call it the art of ease. How to relax. Instead of worrying, we're going to relax. And you'll find that by practicing this art of ease, as we're calling it, not only are you changing this habit of worry from the state of ease, you can then more easily change other habits. So every time you find yourself worrying, we're going to remind ourselves of something. Just a simple one-liner. It comes from an ancient Chinese sage named Chung Tzu. He says, easy is right. Just these 3 words. I want to invite you to make them the basis of your life when you're feeling this onset of worry. And what do I mean by easy is right? I mean, there are lots of decisions we have to make in life, lots of paths we can take. Where you've got to go now in your life, or where you are now in your life, and where you are now is often where you'll go next, because it's all tied together, right? The future that we often worry about is tied, rooted in what we do now. So the result of many decisions you've made is the now. You've taken on responsibilities, certain habits, and worrying may be one of these. But right now, in this moment, if you accept it, this awareness, this moment now is completely fresh. A new start, a new beginning is there whenever you allow it. In other words, you're naked. And I mean that in the best way possible, in a quite beautiful way. In every moment, you are naked, you are here before infinity, you can start again, you have paths open to you, infinite potential. It doesn't matter what paths you've taken in the past. Right now, you stand at the crest of a new decision. The choice is yours. It's always yours. Shall I go this way or that way? Shall I eat this or that? Shall I speak to that person in this voice or that voice? Shall I think this way or that way? I often think of life as a play, as theater. What if you went about your life thinking that you are an actor or an actress performing a role where you can choose? So I want to suggest to you that the next time you're faced with a choice, think of these words. Easy is right. And then ask yourself, why don't I take the easy one? Because as I've indicated, this is your life. We only believe that we're conditioned by our past experiences. We forget that in any moment, we can choose whatever we want, whatever feelings, whatever emotions, whatever actions, whatever thoughts. And often, what's most beneficial is to choose what's easy. What's easy is right. Easy is right. As human beings, we have this crazy sort of brain that wires us, often rooted in our childhood experiences, our childhood patterns, to take the difficult paths, the paths that make life more complicated. We think the hard way is the right way. But if you're a warrior, this is a great practice. Try taking the easy path for a while. Here's an example. Let's say you're trying to decide where to go on holiday. You've got some choices and you start moving toward one option, but it just proves to be too difficult. You can't get a hold of them on the phone, the internet goes down, the booking that you wanted to secure is no longer available, and you're looking if they have another similar option, and suddenly it's like, maybe life is telling me something. Maybe there's another way. Just let it go. Say, there must be an easier way. Maybe the easier way is not to do anything. Or maybe something is waiting to replace that idea. Just be open. Be available to other paths. Make life easier on yourself. I'm not asking you to give up your dreams. I'm saying to make the journey of your dreams, the journey to your dreams, easier. And that can become a new habit. You start choosing easier pathways. Now there's subtlety here, because sometimes between two paths, the one that looks easiest is not actually the easiest, and the one that looks hardest is the easiest. So how do we know? The simple answer? Intuition. And if you take the wrong path, you'll know. You'll learn. So was it ever really a wrong path? if you learned. You'll come back and say, I didn't listen to my intuition, but your intuition measures the correct path. And the correct path is always the easy one, even if it's hard. That means the difficulty you face will be a challenge you can meet, something that will grow you without destroying you, as opposed to an obstacle that becomes a nightmare. So, follow your intuition, and as you follow it, you'll begin to touch something called flow. And we hear this word a lot, this flow. We hear it so often, it's a cliche now, but it's real. When someone finds their flow in life, it's because they found the easy path. That's why it's called flow. Everything flows. You slide from one thing to the next. There's this beautiful unraveling. Life becomes easier and easier. You relax. You breathe more deeply. You feel free. You feel happy. And what happens? You forget to worry. You don't need to worry about the future anymore because you found your flow. You found that inside you there is a means to know which path is easy. And the more you try and test these paths, the more you learn. You'll say, I didn't follow my intuition that time. Okay, let's try again. And next time, yes, there it is. The easy path, the fulfilling one, this flow. And soon we create a sense of surrender deep inside. We realize that life is supporting us, holding us, moving us in rhythm, in flow, in effortlessness. Then all these cliches, effortless being, easeful living, they become real. You live them. Worry fades away. It becomes a thing of the past. You didn't even have to fix it. It just shifted. You shifted it. You shifted your perspective. And here's the irony. It's not difficult. It's easy. And I'm inviting you right now to take the easy path. And I'm not going to say, it'll be hard at first, because it won't be. It's easy from the beginning. From the moment you finish listening to this, it's easy. You might need to come back and listen again, just to remember, easy is right. Easy is right. Repeat it. Reverse it. Right is easy. Right is easy. Feel into it. And soon, you'll find your rhythm. A sense of being. A quiet inner knowing. The mind's noise drops away. The worry drops away. The, what should I do? Dissolves. You flow through your life like a knife through soft butter. You find your rhythm. Life answers you as you live, not from control, but from surrender. And when you live from this place of pure being, you don't need the answers. You don't need to know where you're going or where you've come from. That's when you arrive fully in the now, in presence, because you've found your flow. And one day, someone will ask you, how is it you're so relaxed? How do you laugh like that? How do you go through life with such ease? Because most of us have forgotten how to laugh. We take ourselves too seriously to easily laugh. But ease opens the breath, opens the belly, opens laughter, opens life. And it brings good fortune. It brings simplicity. It brings gifts. So let this be your gift to yourself. Easy is right. Let the worrying end.